What is going on, traders, and welcome back to IFX. And today we're gonna go over a nice strategy, and I just want to show you before we start how are the students or traders actually doing so well trading IFX strategies. And this is one person right here. He made 11% in one day, 74 pips, and the record from one person right over here is 589 pips in one day. This is insane what this person is doing, and all he's doing is trading, looking at the dashboard and trading, nice strategies that I'm gonna go over a couple of strategies along the way. Today we're gonna talk about one, but during the following days we're gonna talk about different strategies that we can use using the dashboard and the trend blocks and reversal blocks. So this is really exciting. This is a really exciting new year, and I just want to say that everybody's doing very, very well, as long as you stay focused. And the first and the main thing that you need to understand is that, well, when you have indicators, you can't rely on indicators. What you need to rely is having a strategy. So that's the main focus in here, because people say, well, I have the indicator tells me to buy and the indicator tells me to sell, but that's not the way that you need to look at indicators. You need to have a solid strategy in order to actually work with them, not just wait for them to give you an alert and then just get in and then, oops, the trade didn't work out. Of course, although you have a strategy, there are times when the trade does not work out. But, that goes to say that, indicators is just one thing and a strategy is something else, which is more solid. So it's very important that you understand in here, but I want you to take a look that it is possible what we're doing in here. It is possible to trade and get good pips every single day. So let's get started. And in here that the main idea is first looking at the dashboard. So when we look at the dashboard, you have to modify it of whatever strategy you are looking for. Remember, we can edit the columns and choose the time frames and choose candles and choose whatever alerts that we want to in order for us to trade successfully. So you don't want to have columns that you don't need just because you want to have it in there, and maybe it's going to confuse you more or less, right? So make sure you only adopt or have the columns that you actually going to need, that it goes along with the strategy that you want to trade with. So with this strategy, pretty much we're gonna take a look again, higher time frame blocks, which is going to be mainly 1 hour and 4 hours. And this is a modification of a previous 1 hour strategy that actually has been working very well, but I'm going to modify just a little bit so that some other people that have different levels of understanding, maybe they can understand this strategy better and trade it much successfully, right? So again, we're going to be having the 5-minute trend block, and we're going to have here the reversal block, the trend block 1 hour, the same thing for 4 hours. We're going to have the daily candle, weekly candle, and the mid-level, which you should already know from my previous videos. So what are we going to look in here? So again, when we look in here, blue and green, this looks like Christmas lights, and then you're like, oh my God, I don't even know what to look for. So again, always write down the strategy and always go along with it. Don't be changing it every 2 days or 3 days, because then that's when you're not going to see the results that you're looking for. So just right in here, what are we going to be looking for or using? I already took my take profit. So we're going to be using of course, the 1 hour reversal block and trend block. That's going to be what we're going to be looking. We're going to be using the exponential moving average with 50 moving average. So that's the second thing. And we're going to be looking as well daily candle information. This is going to be another type of strategy that we're going to talk about, which is going to be the weekly information. This is another one, so stay tuned for the next following video. And the second thing that we're going to talk about here is the supply and demand. Okay, now this supply and demand has been modified by one of the students from the original version, which the original version actually is going to be called, I think it's called, I'm going to go to custom, and it's going to be a original version that I'm going to show you right now. Just give me 1 second. And this is the original version. And this is the modified version. So you need to have this one on your under your indicators, but then what you're going to do is you're going to have this modified that you're going to be able to find it on the chat room. Okay, so this is using the 5-minute. Why is it modified? Well, the reason that it's modified is that on the original, if we change time frames, pretty much what is going to be using each time frame has its own supply and demand or support and resistance levels, right? Each level, each time frame. Okay, so if we go to 15 minutes, if we go to 1 hour, each time frame again is going to have its own levels. But in here, the one that is modified is using the 5-minute supply and demand or support and resistance on every single time frame. The same, if I change time frames, it's going to be the same one because it's going to be using the 5-minute support and resistance. Okay, so that's what's the difference between the original and the modified one. Again, so the original, each time frame has its own supply and demand zones, depending on the time frame, bigger or smaller. And the modified one only has the 5-minute supply and demand on every single time frame. Okay, so this is why if I go to 1 hour, I'm gonna see it like really tiny. If I was looking at the original, then it would be, something long, much bigger support and demand lines. Okay, so this is going to be the strategy, is going to be using the supply and demand 5-minute, exponential moving average of 50, and the reversal blocks and the daily information. Okay, so what are we looking for in here? Very simple. Actually, I'm going to erase the MACD, or we can leave it because this can actually go along as well with the previous strategy that we have already talked about. So what are we looking for is that one, we actually have the two blocks, the reversal block and the trend block in 1 hour, and that we at least we have a one block in 4 hours. Okay, so what does that mean? Let me show you. So what that means is that we need to have, let's say in here for euro dollar, we have the reversal block is bullish, the trend block is bullish, and at least the reversal block on the 4 hours is bullish. Of course, if the trend block is bullish as well, that is thumbs up, like this one, like pound dollar right over here. All of them are bullish, so that's actually much better. If it's not bullish or going with, along with the 1 hour right over here, it's okay, but the more the better. Okay, but at least we need the reversal block going our way. So now what are we looking for is that also what we're looking for is that this is the daily mini chart right here, so I don't have to keep going back and forth looking at the daily chart. So what are we looking for is that the day, usually we get the block and we usually will trade on the next trading day. Okay, we will plan for the next trading day. So if my daily candle, let's say, we can clearly see that the market has been downtrending, and if my daily candle, the finish where the ending candle where I got the block, okay, is a nice bullish candle like this one, ended as a bullish candle. Okay, so this is this day right over here. I can modify and I can see how I can look to the future and say probably tomorrow I can look for buying opportunities. Okay, so stay with me. So if this bullish block right over here ended with a candle that was bearish, then there are low probabilities that we can, on the next day, that the market can maybe go higher and higher, right? It all depends on the trend, and we look at the trend. I like to see it on the daily. Of course, you can also go to the weekly, but as for now, let's just focus on the daily so you don't complicate it. So if on the day that I got the blocks right over here, my 1 hour block and also my 4 hour block, reversal block, I have to see what type of candle did I get. Did I get a nice, did I get a bullish candle, or did I get like a candle, like a doji or some candle that is an indecision candle, right? those gives me the hint that finally the market is going to turn around, okay? So once I get that hint, and then I see that on the day that I got my block, the 50 moving average was broken, then what I can do is that we can set buy orders on the zones, okay, on the blue, on the, if you're buying, of course, we try to set it on the blue zones. And so we would go and do a buy limit, okay? I did a buy limit today, and it got me right over here, and I got out over here, okay? I got 20 pips on that. So what we do is we can look at, we're gonna start looking for buying opportunities. Of course, if we have the daily candle going in our direction, that is better. If we have the weekly candle going our direction, this is like to hold forever and ever, right? This is to hold a much longer, long term. But if at least the daily candle is going in our direction, we are above the daily prior day mid level, right? We've ended up with a nice bullish candle. It is not strong candle, but still I have higher probabilities that I can buy in the zone, in the blue zone, and get out right over here on the opposite direction. Buy again on the blue zone and get out over here, right? So this is the strategy. I know it's a bit complicated, but I just want to tell you, like, let's just say, if I go back a little bit, let's just say right over here on this particular day, I'm going to erase this for 1 second so we can see much better. On this day right over here, we got a block. But unfortunately, this block was, this is the trend block, and then we got the reversal block right inside of it, right over here. So we got a block. We got the two blocks. But on this day, which was 1, 2, 3, on the third day right over here, we ended with a bearish candle, right? And it was a big candle. We do have some wick at the bottom, but it's not enough to tell me that it's going to turn around. So if I was going to look for a buying opportunity in here, it would be possible, but it could be risky because the market could be going on the downtrend direction, right? Of course, also we were far away from the 50 moving average, and so it has not broken it yet. So, there are a lot of probabilities that this trade is going to go higher, right? So we wait. We could either enter on the sell zones. I can't show you because it's only showing me for that day. So I cannot show you, pretty much I can't show you, what was where it was, but more or less we could have gone into a sell opportunity. And then of course it reversed back. So this was the entry right over here. Let me show you another example that maybe it can be clear, right? So this is another example. This is Euro New Zealand. Right over here, we got the two blocks. This was the reversal block I had on this day. And then finally, the trend block happened on the next following day, right? So on this day, which is right over here, this candle, of course, now that candle is bearish, is an indecision candle, and it can already kind of tell me that the market could go into the downside, right? So what do is we put sell market orders on the red zone right over here to go down, right? That's what we want. And also we would like to, of course, make sure that, if we want to enter, then we enter below the mid-level, or that at least is gonna go, that high probabilities that is gonna go below the mid-level, right? So that is one type of entry, meaning that we put orders on the zones right over here, blue zones to buy, these zones, red zone to sell, magenta. Or the second up will be that we enter when the candle closes below the moving average. We also close below the mid-level, and then we enter into a sell position, right? Okay, so don't get it confused. The main idea in here is one is that we have the reversal and the trend block on 1 hour, that we also get at least the reversal block in 4 hours. 2, that when the market ended, you have to wait until that block ends the day. We're kind of pretty much looking forward for the next day, right? So that the candle is an indecision candle or bearish candle if we want to sell, right? That, this day it actually ended with a nice bearish candle. If we got a block with a nice bullish candle like this, well, there could be a probability that maybe it's not going to do what we want it to do, right? And that's where we actually hit the trigger, right? So once we do that, then we sell on this zone, or you can put an order, pending order in here to sell, or what we do is we can go to 5-minute. So this is why we have on the dashboard the 5-minute trend block, is that you wait until you get a 5-minute block going in the same direction. So when you get the block, right, you're gonna go into the dashboard. Well, you're gonna wait for the alert. You're gonna like, okay, we have bullish, bullish, bullish. Of course, we will have to see, okay, we have bearish stuff in here. We will have to analyze and see what's going on. And we're gonna say, okay, if the criteria meets, if it's on, we have to wait until the alert actually hits it right over here. So if I go to the 5-minute, let me just go to the 5-minute so I can show you better. Right here, we got the block right here, okay, inside the sell zone. Okay, this is 5 minutes. So we got the block inside the sell zone, and the market came down to find the blue zone. Again, if you wanted to take the risky trade, you could have gone into buying here, and then, if we want to re-enter, we would like to wait and re-enter again to sell right over here, right? So let's say for tomorrow, if today ends, more likely is going to end on a bearish candle, we could still look for a selling opportunity in this zone right over here, right, for tomorrow. So what do we do? We can more or less take a pending order right over here. We can say that, hey, if they stay like this, it can still be in almost more or less in the same level. Or all you can do is wait for tomorrow for another block that happens inside, or at least that it came back in here, we got a block, and then we enter into a sell position, right? It all depends what we get in 1 hour. It all depends on pretty much what's going on in the market, right? So if we go to 4 hours, right over here, we have a reversal block. We still have a trend block that is still open. So we need for it to actually close, to maybe come back up again, to keep on dropping again. So that's the idea. Okay, so again, I know maybe it sounds a little bit complicated, but it's not that complicated. All we do is that we wait for the reversal block and the trend block to happen. We wait for the market to actually break that 50 moving average, right? We wait for it because, as you can able to tell, it bounced off in here, it bounced up again. It was able to break it. Now we waited for a candle, daily candle, to close in that direction pretty much. And all we do is now we enter when the market comes back into the sell zone, and then that's when we hit the trigger, right? We sell right over there, and that's pretty much what we're looking for. So we can just go and look for different opportunities, like let's say if I go to dollar CAD. So dollar CAD right over here, is it possible that we could have entered in here? Like let's say we didn't get the trend block, right, to happen yet. We did get the reversal block. I would have to see if at least we got a 4-hour reversal block, which we did. So then all I had to do was wait if maybe a candle, which yesterday it closed bullish and it closed, like a nice indecision candle. So we could have entered to sell right over here. And then of course over here it kind of hit it a little bit. It came back down again. So that's what we're looking for. Again, the 50 moving average was also broken. So that's already a hint that we can actually get a nice pullback to sell again. So in here we got a nice sell again. In here we also had a nice sell right over there. So all we do is we wait for a 5-minute entry in the sell zone, or you can just put, a nice sell order in there to hit it, somewhere around the second line or in between of the lines. Or if you want to be a little bit more conservative, you can put it in outside in between the yellow and this line over here, right? So you can put also a sell order right here, and then that is how you're going to play around the market. Let's take a look at here, another pair, just to kind of see what is going on. I put a buy limit order in here. It just didn't trigger. I was playing around just to see. So in here, it was, I could have done it earlier. I just didn't do it earlier. But the same thing. We got a bullish block, right? Beautiful. We had a candle that ended bullish, so there are high probabilities that maybe we can go into that direction. So all we do is wait for the market or the price to come back to the blue zone. We either enter on a 5-minute block, or we just put a limit order in here to enter right over here, right? A pending order to buy right over here. We also saw that the market broke the 50 moving average, and then so there are good probabilities that we can just buy in between these zones right over here. Okay, so if we were selling, again, looking here, the market broke the 50 moving average. It came back to retest it, and it came lower. But the good thing is in here, you see, all we do is we wait for candles. Candles gives us a lot of information. So let's just say that, you see, if you take a look at this daily candle right here, we had a wick bigger than the body. Okay, that's already telling me a lot that the market has indecision. Okay, so maybe there are high probabilities that now it can go into the opposite direction. So once you learn how to read market candles, you have won a lot of you pretty much, the market is yours, right? So that is pretty much this strategy. It's not that hard, it's quite simple. All we're looking is for strategy, key items that happen that we can actually take advantage. So this is Australian, New Zealand. It's not a one that I trade, so I'm not even gonna take a look at it. Let's take a look at EuroCAD. See what's up in here. Okay, so this one is nice. Again, these zones, they kind of move depending on market, but they don't move as much as you would think. Okay, so right over here we had a nice bearish candle happen. Right over here we got the block. So all we needed is for the price to reverse back into the zone and to be able to sell again. If you had the second option that you could wait is for the candle to close, right, to close below the moving average. We're below the mid-level. We already have the block going our direction. All we do is enter and go into that direction. So the idea in here is, the key idea, I think really the key idea is just to see how the daily candles ended the previous day, so you can kind of have an idea or knowledge of what could happen the next day. Of course, it's never 100%, never 100%, but at least you can have an idea of what could happen. Okay, so we got the trend block and reversal block over here. We would not enter, we would wait for candle direction in daily. And in here, we could have two options. Option number one would be a limit order on this zone over here to sell. Option number two would be wait then for a 5-minute block as close as we want from the zone. Or we wait for the third option, would be actually to wait for a candle to close below the 50 moving average and then enter in there, right? And where would we get out? We have to drag it or get out when the market gets as close as we want to the blue zone over here, or the opposite zone. Okay, that should be your target. Okay, if you want to leave it longer, again, that's up to you, but those are good targets to exit the market. All right, traders, so if you have any questions in regards to this 1 hour strategy, please let me know. This is Euro New Zealand. We already talked about this one. Let's talk about Pound New Zealand. See, maybe they're similar. They're not even close to it. So right over here, what do we have? We have the bearish blocks right over here. Unfortunately, the market, when we got the bearish blocks, we got a nice bullish candle, right? So we will have to be careful right in here. Why? Because of course the market did come to see this zone. It came back down, but we are above the mid-level, so this is different. and the market came down to the mid-level, it hit it, and then it bounced off from there. So it's playing around in between these buy and sell zones pretty much. So maybe if today, which I doubt, if this candle ends in bearish, maybe there are high probabilities that maybe we can sell tomorrow. But if it ends in bullish, what should we do? And let me see, 4 hours is 4 hours. Yeah, we do have a bearish reversal block, right? So we still have to wait and see what is going on. We were able to break a little bit right over here, maybe right over here, not sure. You know, we have a bullish daily candle, so that's again very important when you enter in the market. So right over here, I would just buy. Although we do have a bearish block, I would just give it a try into a buying opportunity. Why? Because we have a daily candle. The previous day was daily and we were above prior day mid-level, so you kind of have to be sneaky with the market and not let it confuse you, right? Or am I confusing you? Hope not. So pound CAD, I mean, we had some type of news on the CAD today, so that's why we kind of have some drastic moves. Let's just take a look at here. Euro yen, let's see euro yen. So we have over here, we have the reversal block, bullish block, and the trend block right over here. We're able to see now the market was able to break, right? Was able to break the 50 moving average. So now, and if today, we can see that the market has been moving down. So if today this candle finishes in what? Bullish, there are very, very high probabilities that we can buy tomorrow. So what are we going to do? Again, we have 3 options of buying. So I can put a buy limit order somewhere maybe around here. If it comes back and hits it for tomorrow early in the morning, or maybe when I'm sleeping, it can buy in here, somewhere around here. This is a good target. Or we can wait tomorrow, depending when you wake up. You can enter on a what? On a 5-minute, when it comes back down in here, a 5-minute bullish block, right? So all we do is look at the dashboard. Or you wait until it comes back down again, and then it closes above the moving average, and then you would re-enter. You again, you know, you're above the, if you're above the mid-level, that's again like a 1-hour strategy that we talked about. So very simple. All we're doing right now is waiting for the market to come back down to the zone. We have the bullish block. We are more or less, this candle, daily candle, is going to finish bullish. So there are high probabilities that tomorrow this is gonna go up. So what is the 4-hour? We're already in the 4-hour charts. We have the both blocks. So this is good signs that tomorrow this little guy over here, it could actually come back down to go up again, right? So that's what the strategy is about. So this is going to be the 1-hour strategy with supply and demand, and looking at the daily chart, okay? The daily candle, how did it end, that we can actually make the best decision. So if you have any questions, please let me know. You can always find me on the Telegram channel. You can always send me an email and, you know, check it out, and I will see you on the next following videos.